quite a montage, huh?
Yeah.
This is indeed the show everybody's been waiting for. This was one of those triple boxing main events, Ryan, because we have 3 huge segments going on today.
Yep.
Of course, coming up to you in just a second is the 3rd Matt versus Ryan challenge. I'm taking on Ryan in his best sports, so I got some pretty severe odds against me today. Ryan, of course, sporting the jersey today. The Kaká jersey, right?
Forza Rossoneri, AC Milan. Yes, this is the infamous Kaká, one of Brazil's most, decorated athletes of all time. Not to be too far behind Ronaldinho and Ronaldo, and of course the unmistakable Pele. But yes, we'll be coming to you live shortly with our 3rd edition
of the Matt versus Ryan challenge from the soccer fields. And then after that, we're going to go to the World Cup. We're going to go through the entire pick 'em bracket, just like we did in March Madness style. And then to finish it off, the NCAA Baseball Regionals tournament, the whole field's been announced. This episode, we'll pick the regional winners. You got to wait till next week if you want to see who we think's going to the World Series.
Truth.
But with that said, let's head to the soccer fields.
You're a good soldier, choosing your battle. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it, but you got it all, believe it. When you fall, get up, oh, and if you fall, get up, Tamina, mina, sangarewa, cause this is Africa. Tamina, mina, waka, waka, Tamina, mina, sangarewa, this time for Africa. Listen to your God, this is our motto. Your time to shine, don't wait in line, y vamos por todo. People are raising their expectations. Go on and feed, and this is your moment, no hesitations. Today's your day, feel it. You pave the way, believe it. If you get down, get up, oh, and you get down, get up, Tamina, mina, sangalewa, this time for Africa. Tamina, mina, waka, waka, Tamina, mina, sangalewa, anawa, this time for Africa.
Hey, welcome back, boy. What a dramatic ending that was. Ryan takes it in Southern Death rules.
Southern Death.
2-1. Ron and I both also proved that that's the reason why we're not playing in the World Cup this year. We got 4 more years of practice to go.
Yep.
Hey, we're still relatively young. We care that.
I don't know, man. Landon Donovan did make the squad, and he's not but a couple years older than us, and we're both knocking on 30's door. So if the time is now, we need to call Klinsman and tell him he needs a 24th and 25th man.
Absolutely, we could be emergency reserves.
Exactly.
But with that being said, World Cup time is just, I think, 3 weeks away. June 12th,
so, yeah.
It kicks off. And starting off, we're going to go ahead and start with the main group. Ryan is Group A, where the host country, Brazil, is, I got to think, going to be a favorite in that one.
To win it all or just the group?
Well, definitely the group, I guess.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely a contender as well, but we'll get into that more.
They have a good draw in this group. That's Brazil, Croatia, Mexico, and Cameroon. The only team in that group that would give Brazil any trouble might be Mexico.
And that's only because they're playing better lately.
Right.
I mean, if it was last year's Mexico, of course, they're lucky to be in the World Cup thanks to the United States.
This is true.
Cameroon's one of those teams, and the only reason I know is because I get them on the World Cup game when I play League because they're fast.
Right.
And League gets really mad at that. We'll get into that later, though. But Cameroon's one of those teams, they have a lot of speed, not really great defense, and then Croatia's just kind of one of those teams.
It's a Middle European country that, I mean, they're not terrible.
Right.
But, you know, when you're going up against a powerhouse like Brazil and a rather talented club like Mexico,
right.
You know, these other two teams really kind of got the short end of the stick in this group.
Yeah, I got to think, and you probably on the same line, I think Brazil easily wins the group. The question is who's going to finish second. I'm going to go a wild card. I'm going to take Cameroon in this one. I think they'll squeak by Mexico.
I think that's going to be the matchup that we're going to have to watch in Group A is the Cameroon-Mexico match. I think Brazil can probably get 7 points out of the group, if not the complete 9.
Right.
You know, they might get a draw against Mexico. I do think they're way too talented for a team like Cameroon.
Yeah, I got to think Mexico might be the only one with enough speed and talent to keep up with Brazil.
Exactly. So it may all boil down to that Cameroon-Mexico match to see who advances out of Group A.
And one thing that also helps is Mexico playing in the Confederations Cup the year before, so they played in these venues before. So like Brazil, they have the familiarity. The Confederations Cup really can help.
Yes, sure can.
But
moving on to Group B.
Group B.
One of my favorites. España.
This has got to be Group of Death 1 because the other one's definitely the U.S. group. But
this World Cup this year, it just seems like the rest of the world is finally catching up to the powers that be. And you know, in this group here, we have Spain, we have the Netherlands, we have Chile, and we have Australia. Don't sleep on the men down under either. You know, it's going to be quite interesting this year, but I think it's almost a no-brainer who comes out of this group.
Yeah, I think Spain definitely wins the group. But second, I'm going to take the Dutch, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think because, this is on South America. Chile's used to this environment. I think they squeak by Chile.
Being that Chile's almost playing at home, being next door, or practically next door to Brazil, I think you're right, Matt. I think Spain advances easily from this group.
Are the Dutch the defending runner-ups? Was it last World Cup? Second, or was it maybe a couple years back? Or they made the Final Four or something?
I think it might be the Final Four.
I know they've had success.
I was saying, I think Spain makes it out of this group with 7, if not 9 points. And Holland, I just think is too much. I think they're too much. The Dutch have had a fantastic club the past 12 years, and I don't think that they're going to be looking backwards anytime soon.
Very fundamentally sound and fun to watch.
Yeah,
absolutely.
An absolute firecracker. Still one of the best lines ever.
Absolutely.
From soccer commentating.
Moving on to Group C. I think this one's wide open.
This one's going to be interesting.
Colombia, Greece, Cote d'Ivoire, and Japan.
What's your take, Matt? You take this one.
I think I'm going to take Colombia to win the group. 1, I think they're the most talented out of all of them, but 2, also same continent advantage. I think that'll help. And I've always been a fan of Cote d'Ivoire. I like Didier Drogba. I got them finishing second in advance.
It's hard for me to pick Cote d'Ivoire to finish second in this group simply because of my being partial to Didier Drogba. Didier Drogba is one of the best strikers in the world. He plays in England for Chelsea. Last I checked, he was on Chelsea's premier club. He's internationally known as one of the fastest and best strikers. I think Cote d'Ivoire has the speed to win this group. I think Colombia might have the fundamentals to win this group. I think Greece and Japan could squeak by and end up with 4 points or 5 points and make this group really interesting. I take Cote d'Ivoire with the 1, and I'm gonna have to go just the opposite of you and go Colombia with the 2 in Group C.
Absolutely. Moving to Group D, yeah, it's gonna be whoever's the most money. Speaking of money, bling bling playing in the background over there.
We are filming here on Memorial Day, and there are a lot of barbecues, and we've had some classic New Orleans hip hop jamming in the background.
Go back to the 90s for sure. But Group D, this is another one that I think is wide open. You got Uruguay, who's had a lot of success.
Yes, they have.
In fact, won the last World Cup, I think, against Brazil when it was back there in the 50s or something.
Yeah.
I want to say. And then, of course, Costa Rica, that we're known from CONCACAF, one of the last teams to get in. And then England and Italy, 2 powerhouses there. England's not the same that they've been.
No, they're not. England really is not the same team that they've been over the past 16 to 20 years. Ever since you and I were kids, we can remember England being a powerhouse in international competition. And as of recently, they're not the England of old.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning, the rest of the world is starting to catch up. And it used to be England, Spain, Italy, Argentina, Brazil, and the rest fell where they might. Now you've got teams like England who may not even make it out of this group. If England doesn't make it out of group play, that's like America not winning the gold in basketball in the Olympics.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often.
It really doesn't happen often. And truth be told, I don't think they make it out of this group. I don't.
I agree with you. I think Italy will win it.
Yep. I think Italy takes it with either 7 or 9.
And I got Uruguay.
Same here. Diego Forlan is, again, one of the best strikers. Like I said, the world seems to be catching up with the powers that be, or the powers that were. Watching Diego Forlan, it was last World Cup 4 years ago. This guy really made a name for himself. He was one of those. He went from nobody internationally to a household name in a matter of 2 weeks. So yeah, I've got Italy and I've got Uruguay also advancing out of Group D. Right. Sorry, England.
Yeah, Ryan, I've been, for the most part, agreeing on the same team so far.
And the good thing is, we didn't discuss this beforehand.
No, that's that knowledge that's just stored up there.
Absolutely.
Sure. Group P, this might be the one. I think this is the one that everybody wanted to fall into as far as the top 8 seeds.
Yep.
Because you got Switzerland, that's a so-called national seed, or international seed.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with the NCAA terminology there. And then you got Ecuador, who's a home continent team. France, who has been a powerhouse, but they haven't been the same lately. Nope. And then Honduras, another team that we're used to seeing here in CONCACAF.
Yep. France really hasn't been a whole lot to talk about since the Zinedine Zidane headbutt. They haven't been one of your top 5, top 6 teams, but they're never a team to sleep on.
Right.
Never. France's Premier League is just as competitive as FA Premier League, as La Liga, as Serie A. It's like B+ if all those other leagues are rated A.
So they're Daniel Bryan.
Yes. Yes.
Who you got in this one, Ryan?
This was my toughest one so far, just by glancing at it.
Yeah, I think this is wide open.
I think Honduras is going to make it out of this group, and I think Honduras makes it out of this group with probably like 5 points. And then I have to take France. I have to. I just don't think Switzerland or Ecuador can really match up, unless you never know with these kind of groups how this can unfold. But I'm going to go Honduras and then France.
Okay. I'm going to go a little surprising. I'm going to take Ecuador to take
the
group. I just think I love the home field and home continent advantage. I think that really does play a part in the World Cup. And then I agree with you. I think Honduras is going to be your surprise team of the World Cup to make the round of 16.
Yep.
I got Honduras finishing second half. I can see that group being 5 points winning because I think they all could beat each other up. Going on to Group F, I think if anybody got one of the most favorable draws, it's got to be Argentina.
Absolutely.
As they have them, Bosnia, who is a solid team. The U.S. played them in an exhibition, I think, last year. And then you got Iran and Nigeria.
Argentina's going to advance. Argentina should pick up 9 points in this group. If they come out of this group with less than 7 points, Argentina's the national team should be concerned because Bosnia-Herzegovina, Iran, and Nigeria are all fairly good teams. They've made the 64, but to match up with the likes of Argentina and Messi is just they won't be able to match up. They just won't. Argentina's a no-brainer here. The question is who comes out as number 2.
I personally think it might be one of the groups that it's that rare feat where you see the top teams that goes the 9-6-3 where I think Argentina easily wins all 3 of the games, and I think Bosnia easily wins against Iran and Nigeria. I got those 2 easily advancing in this one. I don't think Iran or Nigeria's got any kind of chance.
No, I really don't either.
Before we get to the U.S. group, let's go to Group H.
Okay.
In another group, Belgium. It's another team that could be considered a sleeper in a lot of World Cups. And you got Algeria, the team the U.S. squeaked by to move on to the next round, thanks to Landy Cakes.
Right.
And then Russia and Korea. That's
another interesting group.
Interesting group. Korea has had some success lately. In fact, back in 2002, I think they made the Final Four.
I think you're right. I think you are right, Matt. I'm going to have to go. I think that's going to be my long shot. I'm going to go with Korea winning this group.
Okay.
With Belgium coming in second. And then the difference in this one might be like a 7 points to 6 points in this group.
Yeah.
And it might come down to the Belgium-Korea matchup.
I think I'm going to take Belgium to win this one, and I agree with you. I think Korea is going to come out second. I don't think Russia's as good as some people think. And
if you guys want to see something funny, watch Vladimir Putin after Russia gets smoked in the World Cup.
Wow. Just think of that. I mean, not only did they not even medal in hockey.
At home.
Yeah, at home. We got World Cup. They host the next World Cup, too. How'd that happen?
KGB.
But anyway, that is what it is. It'll be interesting to see if Qatar even keeps that World Cup bid.
You're right.
Let's talk to that.
You're right.
Move it to the U.S. Or even England. Something.
Who's got out of H, Matt?
Out of H, I got Belgium to win it, and then I think Korea Republic.
Korea.
I think they'll get out of there as well. I just don't think Russia got it. Algeria is just going to be overmatched. They're not a bad team.
No.
Bad matchups.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the group that everybody cares about, at least that watches this show. Germany, Portugal, Ghana, and the United States of America.
Let's break it down, guys.
Yeah,
we're going up against Cristiano Ronaldo, Bastian Schweinsteiger, a team that ran circles around us 4 years ago because we could not keep up on the field, and us. If anybody got the short end of the stick,
it's the United States.
We did for the World Cup draw. We really did, because we're playing against 2 international powerhouses and a young Ghana team that is extremely fast. And we left Landon Donovan off the roster.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I personally like Julian Green, but I thought they would both make it. I thought somebody else would get left off.
I don't think it came down to Donovan versus Green.
And I think Klinsmann kind of reiterated that point, too.
Once I read that, I saw an article posted about Klinsmann's decision and it not being between Green and Donovan. But one thing I believe Donovan could have brought to the team more than anything else is 12 years of experience.
Oh, yeah.
Even if he never saw the pitch in 3 games, 12 years of experience might have been able to help our younger United States team to be able to advance or at least compete better against the likes of Germany and the likes of Portugal.
I mean, I got to think there's more to the story that's being led. Maybe his condition just isn't there. We don't know. We can only see what we see in the matches that are on television.
Right. And if you watch MLS in the past year or so, he's lost a step. But Landon Donovan's also 34.
Yeah.
I think he's around that age. And he's played on 3 World Cups for the United States. So being 34 and you got guys on, say Germany or Portugal's team that are 19, 20 years old.
And this is one thing I think the U.S. has finally started doing. They need to do is the youth movement.
Yes. And it's starting big time.
Absolutely.
Starting big time.
So I think you and I are probably in agreement that Germany easily wins the group. Or are you going another way? I think Germany at least wins the group.
This is tough for me because my bias says America moves on. My desires say America moves on. I think we can beat Germany. I do. I think we can compete on any given day, on any given pitch. The right 11.
Friendly. Now it was a B team, but
the right 11 can beat anybody's 11.
Oh,
we beat Spain. Nobody thought we were going to beat Spain.
And then,
realistically speaking, which I hate doing in terms of American soccer, I don't think America advances. I don't. I think we might be able to beat Ghana, or we might beat Ghana. If we can get a draw and a win heading into our 3rd match, we're in prime position to advance. The key is, who do we play first?
Play Ghana first.
Ghana, we need to start off with that 3 points. We have to solidify that 3 points, or you can pretty much put the rest of it in the books, because we're not going to get 2 W's against Portugal and Germany, realistically speaking. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Portugal is very good. I personally think Ronaldo's the whole team. But at the same time, this is arguably the greatest player in the world. I mean, he just makes people look silly.
Absolutely.
With his ball handling skills. I got the U.S. advancing as the second team, and this is why I think they get by Ghana. I think they do beat Ghana. I think they somehow pull off a tie
against
Portugal, and somehow maybe with goal differential or something like that. I think them and Portugal may both end up with, or even Ghana. Ghana can come up with the 4. I think the U.S. somehow gets a tiebreaker with 4 points, maybe 5 if they could. Good Lord, what if they tie Germany? What if Germany wins their first 2 games and so-called, not necessarily doesn't have anything to play for, but they don't have to put the pedal to the metal?
Well, we shall see coming up in just a few weeks. But I do believe that if the United States can come out with 4 or 5 points in the group stage, I think there's a very, very good chance we advance.
But like you said, I think 3 points against Ghana is a must. If not, you might as well throw it out there.
It's a must. I think it's a must.
But we'll be right back. We're going to go through the knockout round and the rest of the bracket real quick. Yeah, welcome back to the World Cup show. So Ron and I did get it down to 16 teams. Now we're going to go with our Final Four. We'll definitely analyze the round of 16 more when we do a live show.
Right.
You know, when that comes in I guess mid to late June. That's when they'll finally get to. But you know, Ryan, when it comes to the knockout stages, the draw can really mean a lot of things.
Yep.
For sure. But who you got in your Final Four, and do you have any surprises?
Spain and Germany are 2 pretty solid picks. Pending on the group Spain's in, how it unfolds, Spain may end up having to play Brazil in the quarterfinals should they finish second in their group. If they win their group, the second place team may have to play Brazil in the round of 16. Excuse me. So it's real interesting how this thing could unfold.
Yeah, I guess it kind of has to go to how we think they're going to finish in each group,
right.
And then we make our predictions.
Absolutely.
On that.
I think my sleeper this year is going to be Uruguay. I do. I think Uruguay has a favorable matchup. If they win or finish second in the group stage, they have a favorable path. Also, the United States really could make a run this year. If we finish second in the group, we have a very favorable matchup in moving forward. The winner of Group H between Russia, or Algeria,
Belgium,
and I don't know. We were just looking at it.
Yeah, we're just looking at it.
But we have a favorable matchup to at least make it to the quarterfinals, if not farther, if we come in second in group play,
which is a big if.
Big if,
but
big if.
Not impossible.
Germany, solid. Spain, solid. Brazil, solid. And that 4th one, I think, is going to vary between the United States, Italy, and Uruguay. And I say United States, hoping that we get out of the group stage and get that favorable matchup.
And on those 30 for 30 specials, Klinsmann himself said the goal is to make the Final Four.
Absolutely.
You know, they want to make history. Of course, ultimate goal is to win the whole thing. Yeah. But baby steps, of course. I agree with you. I think Brazil and Spain are not necessarily chalk, but I think they're 2 teams definitely capable of making the Final Four. My 3rd one, I think it's going to be Germany too. I think Germany's just a very solid team. I think they'll get a decent draw, of course, if they win the group. And then before I reveal my 4th team, 2 teams I think that could be sleepers. One of the ones you mentioned, of course, was Uruguay. I like the Dutch. We were talking about them earlier. I think Belgium could make a run, but I'm going to go with my 4th team. I'm going to go with Argentina. I'm not picking against Messi.
Yeah, you're kind of hard to pick against Messi. It's always Messi for Barcelona versus Cristiano Ronaldo of Real Madrid. Now you're going to have Messi with Argentina versus Cristiano Ronaldo of Portugal on the international stage. And no, they're not in the same group, but I guarantee you the media is going to be focused on these 2 guys and how they play throughout the group stage.
Yeah, and how my bracket would fix up, it would be Brazil against Germany and Spain against Argentina, I believe how it goes. If that's how it goes, I'm going to take Brazil and Spain to advance in my
What a final. Brazil, a host country, playing against the powerhouse and defending champions.
That's right. And
Spain.
Also, it would be a rematch of the Confederations Cup final, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yes. I have to agree with you there, but should things unfold a little bit differently, I could see Germany playing for the national for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that part of the question, who's your final 2, Ryan, and who's your winner?
I don't know. I can't pick a final 2, but I will say I think Spain is going to retain the title. I do. I think Spain is just too strong right now. I think over the past 4 years they've only gotten better. I really think Germany might be the other team in the world that could truthfully give them a run for their money. I think Germany has come into their own as an international powerhouse with Bastian Schweinsteiger and the like. I mean, these guys are incredible. With that being said, I think I'm going to have to stick with Spain.
I mean, how can you pick against Spain? I mean, for the last 8 years, they basically dominated international competition, all that stuff. You know what? I'm a huge fan of one of the best goaltenders in the world, Julio Cesar. I'm taking Brazil to win it on home turf.
On home turf.
And that would give them, 6?
I think so.
Now, Spain, is Spain second?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard I know it's chalk and flavor of the month, but it's hard to pick against 2 of the most historic clubs, especially when they're still playing at their highest level, especially Spain.
Right.
And Brazil has just been, they're almost an under the radar kind of favorite.
They quietly beat the brakes off you.
Exactly.
They quietly beat you 3-0.
When's the last time? Yeah, Brazil has been under the radar, but I'm going to take Brazil to win on home turf.
I think the main reason Brazil has gone under the radar is because the rest of the world has come onto the radar. You know, if you think whenever we were kids, everything was about Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldo from Brazil, and then Ronaldinho, until the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi and the rest of the UEFA showed up on the world map. Everything was revolved around Argentina and Brazil for international soccer in the 90s. They were the dominant forces. And like I've been saying all show, the rest of the world is starting to catch up. So Brazil has kind of taken a back seat, and I think they enjoy it. Because like I said, they quietly beat you 3-0, but they also keep 70 to 75% possession throughout the game.
And then not to mention that home crowd is going to be right on top.
It's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking in Rio, guys. I promise you that.
Absolutely. But we got one more segment left. We're going to rapid fire through the regionals, although we'll analyze LSU and that other team in Lafayette for fans' sake as well. But we'll be right back with some NCAA baseball talk. And we're back for our final segment of our historic 40th episode.
Hold on. I still can't believe we've been doing this that long already, man.
This show, I guess, is technically over the hill, right? 40?
Technically.
At least if we're going by episode age.
You might have told us our parents, right?
That's probably a compliment.
Right?
I think I just... What's a
salt on the wound?
Yeah, quicksand. The more you try to find out quicksand, the deeper you fall. But anyway, for this part, we're gonna fly through the regionals. We'll pick our regional winners, but we'll analyze the LSU and ULL ones for fans' sake. A little more detail, and then of course next week, Ryan and I will go through the super regionals and give our take who we think will make the College World Series.
Right.
Because 64-16, so many different possibilities.
A lot,
absolutely. But we'll start straight through the bracket here.
Start right from the top.
Right from the top. Poor Vallis. Oregon State gets the #1 overall seed. Has had some success. Won back-to-back World Series titles in the 90s. I'm sorry, in the mid-2000s. Yep. They got North Dakota State, and then the always dangerous Anteaters of Irvine, who LSU fans know about very well, and then UNLV. I think the Beavers easily get through this one.
I think the only team that might be a bump in the road for the Beavers is UC Irvine. I think they have a really favorable regional, plus playing at home. I don't think Oregon State's going to have any trouble moving on.
Yeah. And paired up with them was a team that was just off the bubble for a national seed. I think it's because they lost to TCU in the finals. We ended up getting that national seed. Is Oklahoma State, historically a very good baseball program. They're matched up with Binghamton. And then also, it's a tough 2 and 3 seed. Cal State Fulton's not the same, but it's still Fulton.
They're still right, exactly.
And then you got a very hot Nebraska team.
Nebraska's made the tournament for the first time. I want to say they said in a decade.
They made the World Series, and I don't think they've really done anything.
That's right.
In fact, was it Dave Van Horn, the coach at Arkansas? He was at Nebraska, then left, and they haven't done anything really since.
I think in this one, OK State's going to come out. I think the Cowboys have a real good ball club this year. I think the only bump they might hit isn't going to be Cal State Fulton. I think it'll be Nebraska. Yeah, and they're familiar with each other. So never mind. I'm thinking that they're still part of the Big 12, Big 10, but I forget that they moved conferences. So it'll be a real interesting matchup between OK State and the Cornhuskers. But I do think OK State comes out of this one.
I got OK State too, but I think they squeak by Nebraska. I can see Nebraska. Whoever wins, assuming they get to that 1-2 matchup, counting that Fulton does it, you never know. But I think the winner of that one, the game is played on Monday. I don't think anybody goes chalk all the way through undefeated. I think it can go to that 7th if that's their game. Going through it, we start to get towards the LSU part of the bracket. First, the regional LSU is prepared with is a very familiar foe in Rice. But Rice didn't get a good draw here. They got a very good Texas team who was in regional consideration. You got a Texas A&M team that beat LSU 2 out of 3.
Who's really underrated, might we add. They played in the toughest RPI conference in the SEC.
And that helped them being one of the last teams in. They played the schedule.
Yep, and they didn't fare terribly bad in the SEC either. I think they were above 500.
They were right
above 500. So as a 3 seed in the Rice regional, A&M could make some noise.
Absolutely, and then of course you got George Mason as the 4, known for that basketball run back in 06.
This one's tough.
I got Texas. I think Rice is a little overrated. They don't play anybody. Really.
You're right.
I got Texas coming out of that one.
Rice has been known the past 10, 15 years to be a really good ball program.
Pitching has always been their forte.
Year in and year out. But I do have to agree, I don't think Rice comes out of their own regional. I think UT is going to move on.
And of course, getting to the regional that everybody cares about. Wink, wink. LSU draws a familiar foe, Southeastern, finally getting into the tournament. They've been on the cusp of it the last 4 or 5 years, but just gassing out at the end. But they won the conference tournament this year. They get the trip down I-12 to Baton Rouge. And then also in LSU's regional, a very good Houston team that was this close to hosting a regional.
4th best ERA in the nation as a staff.
And then a Bryant team that a lot of people are saying is that Cinderella team. They could sneak up, could be a Stony Brook. People are seeing Bryant and thinking, this is not an easy regional for LSU. I do think LSU does come out on top in this one. I don't think they'll be unblemished, but I think they'll be very tested. I think Houston will give them a run for their money, and then I see Houston playing them twice. I think Houston's just better than the other 2 teams in there, and I think LSU does escape. I think they'll get by Houston.
Being that we project that Friday's game is going to be Bowman throwing against Southeastern.
Probably.
So should Houston advance again past Bryant?
Which you never know, because last year everybody was thinking ULL was going to be that 2 seed. Sam Houston State beats it. And actually gave LSU a run for the money.
Sure
in that
did.
second
Did.
game.
You know, should Houston advance? Houston's probably going to throw their ace, so we're probably going to be looking at Aaron Nola throwing on a Saturday
Against their Saturday guys.
Against their Saturday guys. So that could be a real interesting matchup as we move forward through the weekend. But Matt, I think you're right. I think LSU does advance. I don't think they're going to get any blemishes. I think they're going to win straight through it, but only because the Tigers right now are the absolute hottest team in the nation. You know, in an 8-game win streak, they've scored 85 runs and only given up 8.
I mean, that's 1 run a game.
They're batting, I want to say, close to 400, if not higher, as a team. Through the SEC tournament, we had 4 guys batting over 450, 1 guy over 600 for the tournament. That's absolutely astronomical numbers, especially with the way college baseball has been changed with the new bats and the new balls. I don't think LSU can be touched in the regionals. I think Houston gives us a run in the first game, but I don't think they can hold. I don't think they can match up.
Yeah, they may be gassed with pitches by then. Especially after that, LSU would have Poche ready to go. If we go through the winners bracket. Moving on, Florida State, a team that's always historically been there and always choked in the super regionals. But they're going to get the fame because Jameis Winston's a relief pitcher for them. But, you know, it's not a cakewalk for them.
Nope.
Alabama is a underrated SEC team.
Damn good ball club.
I almost hate admitting that, but it's true. The SEC is deep.
Give credit where credit's
They set a record. 10 teams in a tournament that's never been done before. That's why the SEC's the one RPI. And then Kennesaw State's is one of these teams that came out of nowhere. And
Maybe a conference tournament winner.
Yeah, but they got a little more pop in the teams thing. And then, of course, Georgia Southern. I think it'll be chalked, though, with Florida State and Alabama. And I see Florida State going unblemished, but it might be tested a little bit by Alabama.
Optimistically, I would like to see Alabama beat Florida State. I would. I'd like to see Alabama move on.
You like to see Jameis Winston blow it?
I want to see Jameis Winston blow it because I absolutely he disgusts me. He disgusts me, and that's a whole nother ball game, literally and figuratively speaking. I've never been a big Florida State fan. Florida State's a damn good ball team this year. They're the 5 seed overall. Alabama's a sleeper. They could catch Florida State with their pants down, and next thing you know, Florida State's 2-Q in their own regional. It could happen. Maybe not 2-Q.
It could happen in Miami not too long ago.
Absolutely.
Moving on, Louisville, World Series team from last year, takes on Kent State, who was one of those Cinderella teams, I think it was 3 years ago, who made it to Omaha.
Yep.
And then they're also matched up with Kentucky, who got hot at the end of the year, and then, of course, Kansas from Big 12, who nobody really talked about at all, but they just kind of snuck in the tournament. I think Louisville just outclasses all of them, but it would be kind of great to see Kentucky win just so that basketball hatred rivalry Louisville and Kentucky play in the winners bracket. But Louisville's they got a strong team. I think they may have gotten the easiest regional I think out of anybody.
I think the one thing Louisville has to worry about here is if Kentucky and Louisville both win their Friday games, when Kentucky throws A.J. Reed on Saturday, this kid is lights out player of the year. He's batting over 350. He's one of the best pitchers in the nation. He's got some astronomical 30-something home runs on the season. This guy's a piece of work, and if he can get under Louisville's skin, that could really make the Sunday, or at least that weekend, very interesting. Plus, it's Louisville and Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. The hatred is definitely there.
This is going to be an interesting regional, but I do have to agree. I think Louisville's just the better ball club.
All right, so that would set up a Florida State-Louisville super regional. That would be a
hell yeah.
Regional. Moving on, Vanderbilt, the team that was hot to start the year, kind of cooled off, but then caught fire again. Just missed out on the national seed. They considered giving the SEC 3 of them. They draw Oregon, who was a solid Pac-12 team this year, and then, of course, Clemson, who just come back in the 90s. They were one of the last teams to get in, and then David West Xavier, not Xavier.
Not New Orleans Xavier.
I think Vanderbilt easily.
I think even Oregon went 42-14 on the season. They're a pretty talented ball club, but I don't think they're going to have the pitching staff to match up with Vanderbilt. Well, I think it'll be Vanderbilt and Oregon on the Saturday game, and I think Saturday is also when you're going to see Beat on the mound. And I don't think Oregon's ever seen a pitcher like Beat. But, give credit where credit's due. They went 42-14, but just Vanderbilt's just a better ball club all around.
Absolutely. So we got Vanderbilt moving on. They would face the winner of the bracket, Indiana, a World Series surprise last year. Actually did some noise in the World Series. They take on Youngstown State, a team who only won 16 games. They got the benefit of winning the conference tournament. They matched up with Stanford, who historically is a really good program, but only 30-23 this year. And then Indiana State. I mean, is the Larry Bird of baseball playing for them or something?
I think so.
I think Indiana usually gets it.
So this one's a no-brainer. Yeah, the Hoosiers are playing some real good ball right now. They've been playing real good ball all season. I think they cruise through their own regional to set up probably a Vanderbilt-Indiana regional in Indiana.
Absolutely. Let me get a bracket pulled back up there.
Moving on, though, we have the Gainesville regional. We have the number 2 national seed Florida Gators playing their first game against the College of Charleston. And then you've got, as the 3 seed in this regional, a very interesting and normally historically talented North Carolina Tar Heels.
Who was one of the last teams in.
Yep. And then the 2 seed of Long Beach State.
Who Tiger fans know from the 90s. They were like that Wichita State teams that would make Omaha. So
consistently good ball club from the 90s, absolutely.
College of Charleston, I mean, they got to be the best 4 seed by far. 41 wins in their 4. I mean, they've historically been in a tournament before. I think Florida gets out of it, but they struggle. They got a tough draw.
And not to mention, Well, yes, Florida moves out, but in their super regional, they have a tough draw.
Yeah.
You know?
They definitely got hosed. I mean, number 2 seed overall, but they didn't match up well. Because they matched up with Miami, who historically is a good program. They were on the cusp of a national seed as well. They take on Bethune-Cookman, and then also in that one is Columbia and Texas Tech.
Assuming Columbia won the Ivy League tournament.
Yes, they did win the Ivy League. You know, this is going to be my upset. This is one of my sleeper teams. I'm taking Texas Tech.
Red Raiders.
They were on the cusp of hosting a regional. Miami just always chokes in the postseason. Even though Miami's better this year, I'm going to go with the Red Raiders. I think the Red Raiders will do it. They're my sleeper.
I think Miami wants revenge on Florida. I think they look too far ahead. And Matt, I'm going to go against my better judgment. I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
I think Miami goes, well, not 2-2, but I think they go home and stay home in Miami, and they don't make it to Gainesville. So Florida will actually get the better end of the deal if the Red Raiders win this regional and then have to go to Gainesville the next weekend.
Moving on, the real Cinderella this year, Cal Poly. You know, they've made the tournament before, but out of nowhere, it came now. Didn't really play anybody, but at the same time, you still got to win games.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they win like 51 games this year?
Actually, I think ULL's one, but they went 45-10.
Oh, okay, 45.
But
okay.
yeah.
I knew they
were up there. They cooled off a little bit.
That's right.
But it was enough to still get them a regional. They take on Sacramento State, and then also in that one, Pepperdine and Arizona State.
I just think Cal Poly in this regional, they may hit a couple bumps in the road.
Yeah, Arizona State's good, but yeah, I believe in Cal Poly a little bit this year. I think they can get out of their regional. I'm going to take Cal Poly.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Matt. CP advances.
They're matched up against a very good TCU team, number 7 national seed overall. They take on Siena, and again, Sam Houston State, is a 3 seed there. And then Dallas Baptist, they've been one of these teams that they almost hosted a regional a couple years back. They've been in the tournament the last few years, so it's a name that people know about. But this TCU team is good.
Yeah.
They are good.
Very.
I think they are capable of getting Omaha. I got TCU winning that one.
You know, this TCU team had to beat Oklahoma State to get this national seed in the Big 12 championship, in the tournament championship. And it could have gone either way. OK State could be hosting this regional should they have won that championship. Right. So for OK State to be pretty much the 9 seed, 9-10 nationally, and TCU just sneaks in with that 7. These guys are damn good. The Horned Frogs are playing some real good ball this year, and I think they move on rather easily in this regional to host the Super Regional against Cal Poly.
And of course, we get to the one now where Ryan and I will try to not be biased. Louisiana Lafayette had a great season, had the best record in the country, 53-7. You can throw the schedule thing out there, but you still have to win. 53 wins.
Do I have to be nice?
It's up to you.
Sorry.
It's our show.
Yeah.
But they got a tough draw. Now, Jackson State was in LSU's regional as a 4 seed last year. And then you got a San Diego State team who kind of came out of nowhere last year, played well, had the National Player of the Year actually last year. Got names drawn a blank, but he hit like 20-something home runs. And then you got the defending national runner-up, Mississippi State, who is really catching fire now. This is a tough one.
I'm gonna take this and run with it, and I'm even gonna take it one step farther. If ULL, the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, makes it out of their regional by beating Mississippi State, they move on. No, they don't move on. They host the winner of the next regional we're about to speak of, which Ole Miss is the 1 seed and should win.
But Washington is a very good 2 seed.
Washington's a damn good 2 seed.
Who should have hosted him.
So you've got either Washington or Ole Miss coming to ULL if ULL beats Mississippi State and makes it out of their own region.
That's a tough road.
So you got to beat 1, if not 2 SEC teams in the playoff rounds of the tournament to get to Omaha. If you do that, I will eat crow. I will give them credit where credit is due because they have not played anybody this year worth talking about except for Alabama. Yes, they beat Alabama. Yes, they won every single weekend series that they played. Yes, they only lost 9 games this year. I don't care. You're in the Sun Belt Conference. I don't care. Until you prove to the nation that you can play on the big stage and win consistently against primetime ball clubs, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer. I don't think they make it out of their regional.
I went back and forth, and I'm going to try to be objective on this one. I'm going to get the obvious out of the way. I got Mississippi State winning it, but I think this one goes to the Monday game. And I think it just comes down to Mississippi State having more arms. If there is a weakness on ULL's team, it's the pitching. But if their bats stay hot, they're the best hitting team in this region. If their bats stay hot. That's a question.
Key.
It's a key. I think they easily get past their first game against Jackson State, though. And then assuming Mississippi State gets... But then again, San Diego State's not a bad team either. Not to discount them. I got State winning it on the Monday. I think it goes to that Monday series.
The Cinderella ride is over, ULL. Sorry.
But...
like I said,
whoever gets out of this regional has got a damn tough opponent coming up after that. Ole Miss, who historically is also known for choking in the postseason, but they host a regional in that, well, they're going to play Jacksonville State. That won't be a hard game, I don't think, for them. And then 2 and 3, Georgia Tech came on at the end, won the ACC Conference Tournament. The Washington is a team I think should have hosted. I'm going to go crazy again here. I think Washington gets out of that regional and beats Ole Miss.
So who would host?
It would come down to a bid. I got to think Mississippi State would probably host.
That would be interesting. Real interesting.
This is my 5-12 NCAA basketball tournament bracket. I got the 2 seeds moving out of both those regions.
it's tough for me to pick Washington in this regional because I haven't followed them as closely as you have. I do know Ole Miss has a damn good ball club, and they played some real good ball this year. They're the SEC West champions. I know they had a short visit at the SEC tournament.
But one place they play well is at home.
It's at home, and we got lucky and took 2 or 3 in Oxford this year. And I think we were the only team who took a series from them at Oxford.
And that's why we're a national seed and they're not. I think that was the difference.
That was.
Well, that and winning the conference tournament.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't, I think Ole Miss may have gotten that 8 seed.
I think Ole Miss makes it through their own regional, and I think that it's going to be an Ole Miss Mississippi State super regional.
But you know, like the other
and
one,
if it falls that way, I think it's going to end up in Oxford.
Yeah,
which would be quite interesting.
But also, I think like the one we mentioned before, I think Ole Miss Washington. I think they go to Monday.
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And finishing off the last 2, South Carolina, historic program the last few years, got a couple national titles. They draw Campbell, and then you got Old Dominion and Maryland. Maryland's a decent ball club, but I think South Carolina easily gets to this.
Maryland's lost a lot of their luster. They played for the ACC Conference Tourney championship against the Georgia Tech team that we just spoke of in the Oxford Regional and lost 9-4 to, I want to say it was a young freshman pitcher for Georgia Tech who really wasn't astronomical. This guy he was a pretty decent pitcher, and Maryland just couldn't seem to put it together. I think Maryland's a little underrated, and I think that's the only team in this regional that could potentially give South Carolina any trouble. Underrated, I mean overrated. I don't think Maryland's as good as a 2 seed for a regional right now. I think South Carolina comes out of this scot-free.
And then final regional, Virginia, who was under consideration for the #1 overall seed.
They was #1 in the nation for a bit of the season.
Yeah, I mean they have 44-13, very good record. A tough ACC conference, the second conference RPI. They were second in bids, they got 7. They play Bucknell, and then also known as Liberty and Arkansas, which you never know with Arkansas. They are a team that a lot of people are thinking could be one of those sleepers because they have arms. And Tyler Beeks is healthy again. He was out for the SEC tournament, but that is their ace starter. Who actually a lot of times they've been starting on Saturday. But Arkansas has always been deep with arms. Dave Van Horn is a good coach. The question is, can Arkansas put it together in person? Can it? I think Virginia's just too good. And I got Virginia winning.
As much as I'd like to see the Razorbacks advance, they got a tough draw here with Virginia.
Well, it got cold. Hot outside, so Ron and I need some air conditioning. But we just want to dedicate this show to all the veterans out there. You know, this is Memorial Day week, and of course we love those guys and America. Of course.
America.
But Ron, you got anything else to say?
To those who have served, those who will serve, those who made it back, and those who haven't, this one's for you. Thank you.
Good night, America.
Good night, America.